Dog, and welcome back to your PA Dutch Minute. This video lesson today will be a continuation of the last video that I gave out to you guys, which was on conjugating verbs. So if you haven't seen that, you'll probably want to go back and check that out. Also, the video before that on personal pronouns will be helpful as well. So here's another grammar-based video, but that's okay. We need to know our grammar. We need to know some basic grammar so that we are doing things the right way, okay? In the last video on conjugating verbs, I made mention that there are some irregular verbs that don't follow the normal rules that I laid out in that video. Every language has them. English has tons of irregular verbs, and in fact, the verbs that we're going to look at, or the verb we're going to look at today, is irregular both in Pennsylvania Dutch and in English as well. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to do separate videos on a couple of irregular verbs. This video will be just about the verb sigh, which means to be. And if you think about it, the verb to be in English, we use it a lot, and sigh is used a lot in Pennsylvania Dutch. So it's one that you have to learn, and it's one that you're going to have to memorize so that you get used to using it. Think about it, how often we use the verb to be in English. And here's a chart just showing you how irregular the verb to be is in English. Here are pronouns in black and the conjugations of the verb to be in English in red. Am, are, is, are. Not one of those 6 forms of the verb look anything like the original be, right? It's an irregular verb. So having that in the back of your mind and knowing, as most of you are English speakers, you've been using irregular verbs your whole life. You just didn't know it, maybe. So sigh in Pennsylvania Dutch is irregular, and here's how it conjugates. And if we look at this chart, we have the pronouns in black and the way that sigh conjugates into Pennsylvania Dutch in red. So for ich, it becomes bin, B-I-N, bin. For do, it becomes bischt, bischt. For R, C, and S, it becomes is, is. For mir, sin, sin. For dear, side, side. And for see, sin, sin. So much like English, the conjugated forms of sigh don't necessarily look anything like the original. The only one that's kind of close to it is the dear form, the you guys are. Side is kind of similar, but the rest are all pretty different. So it's one that you just have to memorize. Say the chart in your mind a couple times, say it out loud, whatever you do that helps you memorize things. Ich bin, du bist, ist, mir sind, dir seid, sie sind. Once you have those memorized, now you can make sentences using the verb to be, or are, is, am in English. I just chose a couple sentences here to show you in Pennsylvania Dutch how we can use these. Like this sentence here. Ich bin mied. Now I have bin in red because that's our verb. The sentence is I am tired. Ich bin mied. So now anytime you want to say I am something, now all you have to do is look up the word that you need to know, like tired or hungry or thirsty, for example. And then you can just put that at the end, but now you know how to conjugate am, bin, in Pennsylvania Dutch. Here's another example from an earlier video. You've actually used this before and you didn't even know it. Wie bischt du? How are you? Remember learning that a couple videos ago? Bischt is the correct, now you know why it's bischt. Wie bischt du? Here's another sentence, conjugating for er, sie, and s. In this case, I chose the name Mary. So we're talking about a girl. Singular, sie, the left-hand column of our table. Die Mary is schee. Die Mary is schee. Mary is pretty. Okay? And then finally one more. Wir sind ready zu essen. Wir sind ready zu essen. We are ready to eat. Okay, I just chose that as some basic sentences to show you how the verb sigh conjugates. Now you know. Memorize it, get out there, start using it. You can really say a lot of things now that you know how to conjugate the verb sigh. And remember, if you're not conjugating it properly, it'd be the same thing as if in English you were going to say, I is hungry. Most people would understand you, however, that's incorrect, and it makes you sound, well, you know how it makes you sound. So you need to conjugate it properly, and that's why conjugation is so important. It's the difference from saying I am tired as opposed to I is tired or I are tired. That's why it's so important to conjugate verbs correctly. So here's your first irregular verb, sigh. The next video I'll shoot out you will probably be the other most used irregular verb in Pennsylvania Dutch, so you also have that in your arsenal. Get out there, practice it, memorize, sigh, and until next time, mach's gut.